What's your self-talk? Okay, so for a lot of you all who are tuning in, my voice, I lost my voice. I'm not sick. I actually, part of the training I'm actually about to start doing full time, I had to go through it myself this week. So part of it was me giving my all, and my all was my voice. But I really want to tap into the picture. Maybe you've seen it earlier. If you did not get a chance to see it, if you know who Simon Sinek is, he's always talk about start with why, and then understanding from why you understand how you'll do something and what you're going to do. And I want to talk about a little bit about my recent transition. I stepped out of car sales full time, and I'm now doing my training and speaking more full time. So I have my notes, but I'm here with my pretty lady at the wife, so I wanted to step aside and make sure I still did and explain to you exactly that chart or that graph that you've seen at the bottom. So first, if you did not get a chance to see it, I'm going to explain it, but I do want you to be able to go down and look at it. It'll just be a circle, and the circle will say why, and next to the outer circle of why is how, and then the outer circle of that is what. Now, the concept behind that is to learn how to do more purposeful work. And in order to know how to do more purposeful work, you got to understand your why. If you have never understand, one of the biggest things that I really, really love doing is talking to you guys about why I do what I do. Or I always say, what's your self-talk? And the reason I ask that question is because I want you guys to really tap into, why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you go to work? Why do you love your kids the way you do? Why do you love your spouse the way you do? Why do you serve in the community like you do? Whatever it is, I need you to start understanding that. I got my pretty lady here. I need you to understand that in order for you to really enjoy what you do, you really got to understand why you do it. So let's start with where we always start, is the what. Now, if you look at that picture, the what is, from a scientific perspective, you are going to be connected to your neocortex. And that's the part of your brain that process information for the benefits and the features and facts that you give. So here's an example. I always sell cars, and part of me selling was always trying to identify the features and the benefits of any vehicle that I will sell. So when I did understand each feature and benefit, I can explain that to you. So somebody come in and they say, hey, what does this do? Or what does that do? What does this button do? That is a feature, somewhat form or fashion, whether it was on the steering wheel, whether it was on the inside of the car or the outside. You will want to know what it do, right? So that's part of us want to know those facts to help us make a decision. Now, what I would always want to do next is to figure out why that is important to you. And in sales, we call this the hot button. You want to figure out what's the customer hot button and what encourages them or what motivates them to even be in the market to want to get a vehicle. And this can work in anything. It don't have to work in sales. It works in whatever you want to do. But I'm just talking about sales specifically because that is what I spend a lot of my time in. So if you know why you want this, so say for instance, most of the time you go get a Jeep. Some people, not all, people who wanted a Jeep, they wanted to go drive off-road. Why? Because they want the freedom to do things on-road and off-road, because they want to feel a sense of rebellion or a sense of freedom, not limited to the road that they're on. And the key thing that I want you to understand is the why. And then the other part of that, of the why and the how, is the limbic brain. Now, you'll understand this because anytime you try to go and explain something that really, really means something to you, and you just have this sense, you have this feeling that you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but then somebody say, hey, explain that to me. Why did you do that? Or all you can say is just feel like the right thing to do. Or I hired that person because it felt like the right thing to do. Now understand, when you say that, that is connected to something deeper to you that inspires you, and you don't even know it. Now, you don't say things out of emotion like, I just did it because I didn't feel like it. No, it's that feeling of why you did something was connected more to something that actually encouraged you. And I cannot remember the name of the your body releases dopamine. Thank you. And part of that is connected to that feeling that you have, because you get that sense of fulfillment maybe in that moment. So the reason that I left the car industry was because I constantly would find myself wanting to help people outside of just wanting to purchase the vehicle. It'll be times that people purchase vehicles that I didn't think they need to even be purchasing it. But still, again, they would want that. And I'm not going to tell somebody not to do something if this is what they wanted to do, even if I didn't understand that why. But it did get to the point where I personally wanted to help not only the people I work with, the customers, but some of the employees that I work with, or the managers. And it's not saying that they needed help. It's just that I seen something more inside of them than actually that they were willing to even admit or even be able to see. How many times have you seen somebody who have great potential, or they have great talents or skills, if they took out the time to maybe develop it, or just took out the time for have somebody say, hey, you're better than what you're doing? And so many times I'll just catch myself thinking like, man, like if you just really took some time out and process what you're doing, not even just what, but why you're doing what you're doing, you will probably make better decisions. But here's the thing that really drives me the most is that when you look at that graph, at the golden circle, so many of us, or people that we hang around, are stuck at that what level. We just want, whether it's money. It's one example I think of. People go to work for money. And that's their what. Why do you work? Well, I want to get money. Okay. Why do you go to work? So I can get money. Okay. So the only reason is to go to work to get money. Yes. Okay. So what are you doing with that money when you get it? Man, I don't know. Do whatever I want to. Okay. But let's think about this for a minute. If the only reason you go to work for is money, you're just saying that I don't care about my family. I don't care about my kids. I don't care about my future. I don't care about what I do with this money. I just want money. And that's if you say I work for money and that's all I do. Now, if you say I want money because I would like to be able to do investing, or I like to spend more time with my family, I like to go spend time with my kids, I would like to go travel and do this, then you're starting tapping into that why, whatever you're doing. But when you stop at that what level, you are limiting yourself. And then so you have friends and maybe even family members that are around you that only understand the what level, or that neocortex level of thinking, and you don't think past that. I think about my wife. She always tell me I want to have more intellectual conversations. Well, in order to have that, I have to understand why. Why is that important? Why should I go out? Why do I need to understand how to have more of those conversations? Because a part of us want to be more connected to a deeper part of somebody than what you do all the time. You don't care about what I do at work every day. You don't care about I want to know why. What's going on inside your mind? What's going on inside your heart? Why do you feel like you're making this transition? And how are you going to make this happen? So I think when you understand that people, as they grow older and money is maybe not longer an issue, because that was my early example, but they want to be deeply connected with people's why, and they want to work with people, that why is so beautiful, and they, like mine, is to be the best example and the version of myself. And I want other people to do that. And if I see somebody else holding themselves back from being the best person of themselves, I'm going to want to help them. But if they don't want to help themselves, then I'm going to distance myself from them. Why? Because I limit myself when I am around someone else who don't want to make themselves better. And you limit yourself if you're around others that don't want to make themselves better. Why? part of life is change. If you're not willing to be open to change and actually live the change that you want others to be able to do, then in my life, you will never find that sense of fulfillment. That's my personal opinion. And I believe it is some science behind it, and I'll present that later. So I really want you to take time out and just say, why do you wake up in the morning? Why are you doing what you're doing? And see what that's connected to. Take the time out. And then the way you find your why, you start monitoring your self-talk. If you go see movies, or if you listen to music, or you read books, like, what inspires you in that book? What inspires you in that movie? Is it to be a business owner? Is it to be a stay-at-home mom? If it's to be an entrepreneur? If it's to be a real estate investor? Is it what is it? Why does it motivate you? Why is it inspiring to you? Why is it that you like to go follow this one individual, whether it's a business leader or it's a pastor or it's a church? Why is that? Start asking yourself, figure out your why, and stop just living on this what level. Because if you do live on that level, then a part of you would never, ever really live. So as you always know, ask that real important question. I look forward to hearing from you soon. What's your self-talk?